let's talk about accident. It's exactly a week today since two buses carrying passengers collided at Dompase in the central region. At least 34 people were killed in that accident and many were left with life-threatening injuries. We have an update from the hospital, plus a conversation that focuses on our handling of persons who have suffered trauma through accidents here in Ghana. We'll also hear from the Inspector General of Police on the new measures adopted by the police to minimize soaring carnage on our roads. Right now, though, let's bring back what happened. Richard Kojonyako has that report.
Many relatives of the dead in the accident continue to pour in at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. This woman here has been praying that the checks they are doing at the hospital morgue should not include his brother, their lastborn. But unfortunately, her fears were confirmed. The brother was gone. Many continue to trickle in to embark on the same exercise. One of such persons was Esikadu Katan, Member of Parliament and Minister for Railway Development, Joe Gate. He lost his constituency financial secretary.
One of the constituency officers, Makonde Haja, very good woman. She lives in Kojoko. We went, we noticed how hardworking she was in the party in Kojoko. Then she became a police station chairperson. And then we elevated her to the position of financial secretary. She was a selfless person. She used not just her time, but also her money. And she did, it wasn't only politics, she was a stalwart in the society. She did a lot for people. From the reports I hear yesterday, the crowds of people went to her house, the reaction. It shows that she was doing things for people that even others didn't know. The next thing I heard was that this accident happened. First, I heard she survived. Then they told me that she had passed away. She was a good person. And so today, cabinet is being held today. Usually, cabinet is held on Thursday, but today, the president brought it forward for certain reasons. And you cannot, as it were, excuse yourself on cabinet. I mean, the president takes it very serious. We take it very serious because by the constitution, it's our duty to assist the president. Every 2 weeks we meet in order to think about Ghana, the country that the people of Ghana has given to us in trust for them, to serve them. But when I told the president yesterday about what has happened, he immediately said to me that you must go.
Inshiraba Ansa and her brother Adom Ansa were also traveling with their father, John Ansa, their mother, whose name we only know as Martha, and their younger sibling from the eastern region to Takoradi. These two have lost their dad, their mom, and their 8-month-old sibling in this accident. 10-year-old Inshiraba had an injury on the hip and the upper part of the arm, while 6-year-old Adom Ansa sustained injuries on the head. His head has been sutured now, but their walls have almost crushed. They've been asking for their parents and their sibling. Central Regional Minister Kwame Nadankan and the Central Regional Police Commander with the entourage were there to visit. Other survivors shared their stories. CEO of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, Dr. Eric Kofinjedu, has been calling for calm among family members. He says the hospital has to exhaust all processes before the bodies could be released to them.
Yeah, from yesterday to today, we have been trying to manage the mass casualty that occurred on the Takoradi Cape Coast stretch. And you know, around between 12 and 1 o'clock, we had a call from an observer that there was an accident, and we quickly mobilized our resources to contain the situation. So together, we had a total of about 34 bodies in our mortuary that we initiated administrative processes and legal processes to get the bodies identified And then, they're all coroner's inquest, and the coroner will have to give us the necessary directives as to how to proceed. So from yesterday to today, we have been managing mass casualty. The 25 that are remaining are fine. The ones in the body are in the process of body identification and coroner inquest documentation to go through. And then as and when we get the clearance from the coroner, the bodies will be released to the deceased family.
So that's what happened last week. But in the course of this week, the course of the investigations, the driver who is currently on remand gave this account of how the incident occurred.
It is not true that I was overtaking another car. I was even on the second gear, and that cannot be a speeding gear. What happened was that there was an articulated truck that has stopped in the middle of the road. I tried veering off, and in the process, the wide bus rammed into ours. It wasn't easy. It wasn't that I was overtaking any vehicle. I had to escape through the roof of the car to safety. I got injured on my chest, my arm, and my leg and couldn't move.
Well, that's the surviving driver in that fatal accident. The police has rejected his account, citing its own understanding of how this accident may have happened. Here is Central Region Police Commander, COP Paul Awini.
This angle from the Cape Coast side. And then there was an articulator ahead of him from our preliminary investigations. And then he tried to overtake that articulator from this straight stretch, which is on the left side, from Cape Coast towards Takoradi. Just as he was overtaking that articulated truck, then if we look ahead on the Takoradi side, we'll see that there's a sharp curve there. Just as he was about to overtake, then another passenger bus conveying about 50 passengers, that's a DAF diesel bus from Takoradi to Accra, emerged from that curve. Both vehicles were on top speed. So as soon as the red Hyundai bus from Accra sighted that DAF truck bus emerging from the Takoradi direction, he sensed danger and immediately decided to swerve towards the shoulder of the road. But if you look directly opposite the road, you see that there's an embankment there. He tried to swerve there. And at the same time, the driver, the DAF truck bus driver from Takoradi, also sensed danger. And I believe both of them, from our preliminary investigations, indicate that both of them sensed danger at the same time, and they both tried to avoid a head-on collision, so they both swerved towards the shoulder of the road. But unfortunately, because of that embankment there, none of them could go very far. But the Hyundai bus from Accra towards Takoradi moved faster, and I think the head bit of it went up on the embankment a bit, and then the DAF bus from Takoradi came and hit the mid portion of the Hyundai bus. The speed was quite great, and the damage to both vehicles was very extensive, and the passengers inside. We worked very hard from that hour of the night till about 7 a.m. in the morning. That was when we were able to rescue the victims, those who were injured, and then also we were able to cut and remove the dead from the mangled vehicles of both vehicles. Yeah, those who were dead on the spot were 29 initially, and then we conveyed all the injured to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. 5 of them also died on arrival. 56 were treated at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. There is some allegation that on that day a bus or a vehicle ran through the victims that were rescued and then possibly killed a number of victims. Our preliminary investigations has not shown that this is the case. That cannot be true as at this stage of our investigations, because the accident occurred roughly around 10 minutes past 12. By 12:25, 12:30, fire service and police emergency operational teams were on the ground. So meaning that about 20, 25, 30 minutes after the accident, our emergency teams were in place. And as soon as they got in place, a few minutes after, my district police commander for Elmina was also in place. And they all remained on the ground until our emergency operations on the ground were completely finished. And all of them have given statements, and it has shown very clearly that no vehicle has run and killed people immediately after the accident. We had an incident where one of these Ford vehicles from Takoradi was going to Accra, and when it got here at that time, it stopped. And then some passengers from that Ford vehicle got down in a bid to help with the emergency operations that were going on. And according to our preliminary investigations, a vehicle from the Takoradi side got to this side, and because that lane of the Cape Coast bound lane was riddled with the debris, it took this side, this other lane, and drove off. It didn't stand. Immediately it passed. Then 2 of the passengers on that Ford bus claimed that, one of them claimed that that vehicle ran over her leg. And then another one also claimed that that vehicle also hit his head. So the Ford bus driver immediately picked them, his passengers, and drove off and went to the UCC hospital in Cape Coast. We have followed up, and our investigations there have shown that yes, few minutes after 12 o'clock that day, some 5 injured persons were brought to the hospital. 3 of them were treated and discharged of some minor injuries. And then 2 of them who sustained serious injuries, one was referred to Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and the second was referred to Interberton Hospital. Our follow-up to Interberton indicated that that person who was referred there didn't report there. So we believe he also probably went to Accra because the Ford bus was on its way to Accra. Yes, so our investigators are following up to Kolebu to find out, how that one turned out. But the truth is that no passenger was killed here as a result of a vehicle that ran past and ran over some of the victims that were rescued. That bit of it, we want to put it on record. As at this stage of our investigations, that has not been proven. I would just want to add that the driver of the Hyundai bus was treated and discharged yesterday. We immediately picked him up and detained him to assist in our investigations. We are taking him to court today, and by now, as we are speaking, I believe by now he's in court, and we will see what the courts will say, whether to grant him bail or we will remand him in custody to assist us in our investigations. So, Honorable, as at this stage, this is what our investigations have indicated. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
That's an elaborately detailed account by COP Awene, who is the Cape Coast police commander there, telling the minister what they believe happened. Well, today we've been speaking to a survivor of that accident who corroborates the account of the driver. Maxwell Agbagba has our top story.
Over 2,000 breadwinners, dependents, and future leaders died in road accidents last year in Ghana. We've started a new year, but it looks like the situation has not changed. I'm here at the La Paz Community Hospital to meet Charles Osei. Charles is an advertiser and is a survivor of last week's Accra Cape Coast Highway accident. He was traveling together with 3 of his colleagues from Takoradi to Accra when they were involved in the accident. He came out with blood oozing from his nose and his mouth. He survived it, but he will continue to live and suffer the brunt of that accident.
I was coming from Takoradi with my boys. We went there to do some work. So on our way coming back to Accra, where the incident happened.
Wow. So how many were you?
Yeah, we were 4.
4?
Yeah, myself and 3 of my boys.
Okay. And you went to work in Takoradi?
Yes.
Okay. And around what time were you coming back?
Around 12 a.m.
12 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us, what exactly happened?
Like I was asleep a little bit, but when I saw the sound, I just opened my eyes. Within the minute, the incident happened. Yeah, so I saw it within 1 minute, and I couldn't do anything. So what I realized, I saw blood coming from my nose and my mouth, and I was under the seat. Yeah, that's what I saw it.
That's what you saw.
Yes.
So you were in the car heading where? Where exactly?
From Takoradi to Accra.
To Takoradi to Accra.
That's the ash bus. Yeah.
So within how many minutes? You said around. How did it happen? Like, was he overtaking or that overtaking?
Yeah. The red bus was overtaken. He crashed our bus.
He crashed your bus?
Yeah.
So tell me, that moment when he crashed your bus, what exactly happened in the bus? You were inside, you were conscious. What happened at that moment inside? Were people screaming? Were people
shouting? There was a sound, screaming, a whole lot of fighting. Each and everyone want to come out to save him or herself. So I was calling my boys. Yeah, I was calling them. Yeah. After I saw we are safe, so we just step out, and that we all. But I saw many people blood, and so the 10 minutes later, I started showing the dead bodies and stuff. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So were there dead bodies in the car before you came out?
Oh no, I stepped down before I saw, because there was a blood through my nose and my mouth. So after the 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I saw a whole lot of things.
I'm sure at that point, the 3 people you were traveling with, you started looking for them.
Yes.
Who were these 3 people you were traveling with?
Setopon, we normally call him Odenchem, and Edubuahin, that's Gab, and Amufa. Yeah, that's my boys.
They're your boys?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you got out, you started looking for them.
Yes.
Where are they now, the 3 of them?
One is still at the critical point. His leg, 2 legs got broken, so he's in a treatment now. But 2 of them, they are okay now.
The 2 of them are okay?
Yeah, they are okay.
So they are at home?
Yeah, they are home.
Okay. But one of them has his legs?
Yeah. So he had a treatment now.
Is he able to walk?
No.
Wow.
No, he can't walk.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when the incident happened, when you came out of the car, and we hear reports that there was another car that ran over people who were, the accident victims who were lying on the streets. Did you see anything like that?
Yeah. Even I was the one the car was chasing. Well, I just saw the car coming where I ran like 2 minutes and passed to the bush. So the car was chasing that tipper truck. So as I was, he knocked some guy down.
And he killed him?
Yeah, even my boys was even crying. It was before knocked down. Yeah, but so they later saw me coming from the bush, and it says it's not me. Yeah.
So when the accident happened,
yeah,
and the people were injured on the road,
yeah,
articulated truck you're talking about was speeding and then ran over people.
Yeah. It was coming from Takrady. Speeding just past. It's not good experience, of course. Yeah, it's not good experience.
So tell me, how are you feeling now in terms of your health? How are you feeling right now?
Now my head, my chest, and my back. Since 3 days ago, I couldn't sleep. So I decided to come and do all the body scan and X-ray on my head. Because as of now, my head is paining me, my chest, my back. Yeah.
Psychologically, has it affected you in any way?
Serious. Yeah. It's like when you are there alone, that's the only thing you see. Yeah. I was supposed to go to Kumasi. That's where my family was. But it's not easy. So I have to calm down before I can take another bus to Kumasi.
We have more survivor stories now, but with the fresh information we're getting from this particular survivor, the police may have to now review its docket on the case and speak to more of the witnesses to arrive at a conclusion which helps all of us to fully understand what happened on that day, leading to the death of all of those people, so that we can also find a solution, hopefully, to the problem. Already, the IGP has announced some measures to deal with the spate of accident across the country. He's been speaking to Israelite.
What our investigation has shown is that the suspect driver was trying to overtake a long stretch of vehicles, and it was close to a bend or a curve. And when another vehicle emerged, he couldn't avoid, so they had to go into a collision. So far, 34 people died, 63 injured, and 47 out of them have been treated and discharged. 2 of the male passengers who died have not been identified so far. So we're appealing to the public to help us identify them. The suspect driver has been charged provisionally with careless and inconsiderate driving. When we finish with the investigations, the docket will be submitted, as usual, to the Attorney General Department. Then they will look at it and see whether they want to go by the Road Traffic Act or they will go by criminal action. For instance, you could be charged with manslaughter if his actions are considered to be a reckless disregard for human life.
Been making reference to education that has been happening all this while, but if the education has been happening all these years and we are not minimizing these accidents, we should be doing something differently. What differently are we doing?
Apart from education, it is not as if we are not doing anything to enforce the laws. We have traffic prevention squads or traffic prevention, accident prevention squads, on the roads. And these are gentlemen and ladies with radars or speed cameras, which they can use to check overspeeding. And you agree with me that there are so many roads on in the country, and we cannot be everywhere at the same time. And that is why I'm appealing to the public that we should try and talk to drivers when we are in the vehicles. If they are speeding, we should tell them to slow down. And we should also report dangerous or reckless driving to our emergency numbers 191 or 18555, 191 or 18555, so that we can take action against drivers who are flouting road traffic regulations. The pedestrians crossing the road In other places, they call it
jaywalking.
Jaywalking. If you are crossing the road, look for a zebra crossing and ensure that you have a clear view of the road from both left, right, and left again before you cross, and ensure that you are safe before you step onto the road. So I believe some of these things will help.
How about enforcement of the many laws we have on the roads?
Enforcement takes several forms. You educate people, or you arrest them and you prosecute them. This we are doing.
Can we do a bit more or a lot more?
Okay, like I said, you cannot be on the road 24 hours a day for all the roads. And in addition to this, we have police posts in certain portions of some of the roads. And talking about the Dompoase accident area, our research has shown that accidents have been occurring there. So what we are doing differently now is that the Central Regional Commander, Police Commander, is going to put a roadblock there so that whenever drivers get there, they will be compelled to stop so that it will eliminate the possibility of accidents happening there.
When should we expect that rolled out?
Well, that should be immediate, maybe in the next 72 hours.
Does that mean that will be replicated in other accident-prone spots on the highways?
Yes, in other accident-prone areas, commanders have been tasked to steady the road in all their jurisdictions. Wherever they think that the speeding can be curbed by an enforcement medium, either by a roadblock or by a temporary police check, they will do that.
What do you think about all of these? Drop us a WhatsApp message. But now let's take you live to Cape Coast, where some of the survivors are still receiving treatment. Richard Kojonyako is our man on the beat for us. He's been following it since it happened. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Gifty.
Tell us how those who are still on admission are faring so far. It's been a week already.
Yeah, so there are about 14 people who are still on admission receiving treatment. There are 2 children in Shwaba and then Adom would leave the hospital today. There is a family relative. In fact, the youngest, one of the family members will be there to pick them. We're told that they need to be very close to the children. They need to get some special care for the children, and so that is why they would want to take their children out. But apart from that, we are told by medical officers here that everyone is doing fine. There are some whose conditions would require some further surgeries, and then they are preparing them for that. And so there are some that are still here. In the meantime, the hospital officials and authorities, they are putting together the cost, because now they have not billed anyone who was involved in the accident, who was part of the people that are still receiving admission, because the cost has been absorbed. And so they are putting together their costs and all of that, and then later they will send them to the appropriate quarters for the monies to be paid.
Richard, the driver gave his own account of what happened. The driver, which survived, gave his own account of what happened. The police disputes that account because they have their own. This afternoon, we've spoken to another victim of a survivor of that accident who is corroborating what the driver said earlier. Do you know if this has been made available? This information is available to the police in the region?
Yes, this has been explained by the police. They mentioned a Ford vehicle that ran on some passenger or some people on the road at that time. There were 2, and so the driver of the Ford immediately stopped and then helped them onto the car, and then they sent them to Accra for further treatment. In fact, the police have been mentioning this when the incident broke, when they were explaining, and after their investigative process, they mentioned this. So, but what the driver said that the police dispute was that there was a trailer that ran on a lot of the victims of the accident, which the police, after the investigation, they said that there wasn't any trailer like that. And besides that, if there was a trailer like that that ran on people on the street like that, then it means that they should be accounting for a lot of the bodies that will be mutilated. But according to the police, all the mutilated bodies were they were part of the bodies that were retrieved from the vehicle, the mangled vehicle, and they were cut by the Ghana National Fire Service team. And so that is why they dispute the claim of the driver. The driver mentioned the trailer that ran on but the police agree that there was another vehicle, a fourth vehicle that was coming from the Takoradi direction heading to Accra. And when it ran on some two people, they took them and then they sent them. They continued their journey with these two people. And so that bit has been explained by the police.
Interesting developments there. Certainly the police will be here. We'll be hoping to hear more from the police on this. But Richard, before you go, is there anything else from this development that we need to know?
Well, so Adum and Inshaba would be discharged from the hospital. The news is yet to be broken to them, though. They say they are still managing the situation. But the family would want to, the extended family would want to come and see them. So that is why they would need to take them closer to them, so that a special kind of care would be given. All the people, Adam's father, the mother, and their younger sibling, they've also been taken out of the hospital morgue. The first that came was the mother's family, so they took the mother together with the sibling, because when the accident happened, the baby was just on the chest of the mother, and so they sent them that in the same way, and then they also came for the father as well. So that is the development. They tell me that almost all the people that are in the hospital, morgue, have been identified, and so their families are still in the process of coming for the bodies, but they are left with just a few of the bodies that are yet to be retrieved by their respective families. Very difficult moment it will be for those little children, but hopefully they'll have the support that helps them to go through it. Richard Kojonyako is our Central Regional Correspondent, bringing us up to speed on that rather unfortunate development. Like I said, I do have survivors here in the studio. We'll be having a conversation to hear their story. What's your own story? This is a near-death experience. If you're one of those people who are seriously concerned about the spate of accident on our roads, do join us in this conversation. You can send us a message on our WhatsApp platform to the number 0540109009. That's 0540109009. I'll take a very quick break. You're still with me here on The Pulse. I'll be right back. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Like I said, I do have some accident survivors here in the studio with me. They're not survivors from this recent accident because, of course, they're still recuperating, and we certainly brought you one of them at least. But today we're asking this big question: why do we almost always forget as a country to adequately cater for persons who've suffered accident? In the studio with us, three people. One of them is Mary Mensah. Mary Mensah is an accident survivor. Hello, Mary, you're welcome. I also, if you could speak up for me, Mary, I'll appreciate it. I also have here in the studio Comfort Boateng, who's also an accident survivor. Ms. Comfort Boateng, you're welcome. Okay, if you would just speak up for me a little bit, that would really help our audience and our viewers to hear you. I also have Reverend Cyril Benedict Crab. He's a founder and president of Accident Victim Support. He's one of the people who come together, put people together to support persons who suffer from accident. You're welcome as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, so before I go on to talk to them and ask about what their stories, specific stories are, I've been asking you to share with me your thoughts, your own experiences. I mean, being in an accident and surviving is a near-death experience. I just want to find out from you what yours are. I have some messages here. Let me quickly read it, and then I will hear their stories. This one says, your Central Regional Correspondent reported. Do not call the line, please. It says, your Central Regional Correspondent reported 6 different accidents at the same spot. Nothing was done. The accident was caused by a broken down vehicle which should have been towed off the road according to the regulations. He goes on to say that witnesses said the traffic lights were not working, which could be a contributing factor. Nothing was done. He says nothing was done. But when accident happens, we have government officials We have government officials giving usual messages of condolence in ugly sunglasses and affected English. I think they enjoy doing that. From Koshi Badahu Ayivo in Deno or at Deno Junction. Thank you for sending in your message, Koshi. Please stop calling the line. It is only for WhatsApp messages. Drop us a WhatsApp message. You don't need to call, because when you call, it distracts the flow of my reading of the messages. This message says, if my memory serves me right, during ex-President Rawlings's time, there was a law that barred the tankers and trailers to be on the road after 6 p.m. So I guess we should go back on that road, to bar tanker or long trailers from using the road after 6 p.m. It's coming from Fifi in Ashoman Estate. Fifi, thank you for bringing in your message. This one also said, to the best of my knowledge, government must set up dual roads so as to curb accident. From Victor Nyame. All right, this will be my final message, and then we'll go on with the discussion. Babamu from Tamale says, indeed, it saddens my heart anytime I hear accident like these in the country. However, my condolences to the families of the people who lost their lives. But I think Road Safety Management Authority and MTTU must put in mechanisms to reduce these accidents. So these are some of your messages. Keep them coming. If you have any near-death experience, do share that with us. And let me start talking to our survivors here in the studio. Maybe I should start with you, Auntie Comfort. Do tell us, what is your story? What happened? Okay, speak up a bit for me, and we'll see if I'll be able to do a translation. Pacho, go on.
26 July 1918. Na me firifie na me store no so committee 9 na chese me ko hunti me se me to ade wa ahyiama enti mato ade koro no awie enti manhu ye nam kwan ho traffic light no ye nam kwan ho aye ba ne ye ti ye ni se car no afa block nti ba na ati free fitie soro ena eba nti eba saa no a edu baby ati free no so emutwe wanya baby engina nti nipa na enam nchen no nti ne yete ya ne se montwe mo ho ne mi hu ya ne se car no menan akɔhye car na se nti menan kɔhye car na se no na kyese eyi metana fom nti metana fom ne mi hu ya ne se menan no aworo nam no nyina ayi ama me eyi medan no ebi da fom na ebi so ewo medan no ho enti nia mi hu ni se nipa na moja nti wona ne de manhunu bibia se eye meya nti hono no mo pe car and wo de me call General Hospital.
Okay, so I'll let her continue the story, but essentially she says that she recounts her story back many years ago when she was on her way to assignment from Tema, and then she said that she had all she had was a vehicle coming through, and that vehicle seems to have lost a grip on its brakes. She says the vehicle was just coming at top speed. She ended up with her feet under the vehicle. And then that was when I stopped her. She says all she saw was blood. She couldn't even feel her feet. And then she was taken to the Tema General Hospital. So, Auntie, what happened when you went to the Tema General Hospital? What happened to your leg?
Me di General Hospital 5 days. Until 5 days, you know, and now. One the oxygen na fe me call off nti I'm say 2 days no me call off and one the oxygen e see me so nti me de man hu no hwe biem nti ne me hu ya ne say yes ye mfa me nko kwalebu nti 5 days no and one de me call kwalebu
I see. So she says she went into coma for about 3 days. Afterwards, she was referred to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Let me come to Mary. Mary, what is your story?
Sorry, they say 22nd March. Na me call Boise. To me call no Boise bus na your man am far do how. Just so bus. You drew a confi honomon. See, baby one say car be overtaking in town bus maybe. Or the best she or the best crashing any day. See, me now no she seat nothing. I'm at that didn't be around me now anymore.
Yeah, it's fun.
You're on our ambulance by now, Bessisa. Be more going to me, Jana Moja to me. Before soon, I'm peer free bus, na me bar outside. Na me theatre, we say, hey, to me, the Amoyan can't be an amufi, Moja to an to me. To me, John will be bad on my family, see, can come dear call my Roma Hospital.
Okay, so Mary is also an accident victim. Mary talks about how she was on her way to Boise through Drasso, and then on their way, a U-turn vehicle which was attempting to overtake another vehicle ran into their bus. There was a crash. She found herself with her feet locked up under the seat of the bus, one of the seats of the bus, and part of the metals under the seat went straight into her legs. Auntie, what happened to your feet after that?
Because me free hospital or bathroom. Obia frame me, or move me friend or say, oh, you be friend. Matrobas for no.
No, tell us what exactly was wrong with your legs. What happened to it?
Because a accident na say me na ko hihye seat na say. Ti amadade no ra me nan ni mu. Ti omo pempam we.
Okay.
Ti me ba fie no store e konso store mu ye me ya pa.
I see. So she says, so she's spent some time in the hospital. She's back. She's, her feet have had to be stitched, etc. But she says that's it. She neither heard anything. Did you hear from the police? Did you hear from the police, the driver? Nothing. The driver died.
Yes.
So she says the driver died in that particular accident. How many people died in that bus?
At once on nipa be 20 we nam omo makane de minim.
What happened to them?
Because Magazine Roma Hospital, maybe so apam.
So Mary was in a bus that was heading to Drasso. She was actually trying to go to Boise, and along the way, a U-turn vehicle rammed into the vehicle. She was traveling in that vehicle, so there was a crash. The driver died along with about 20 persons. She is one of the lucky ones to have survived that particular accident. She had her feet under the seat with the metals under the seat piercing through her feet. She went to the hospital. She's had nothing. Let me bring you in, Reverend Cyril, into this discussion. I don't know what motivates you to bring together these accident victims, but what sort of support does your organization provide to these victims?
Okay, thank you very much, and let me first and foremost express my deepest condolences to the families that have lost their dear ones, and also express my well-wishing sentiments to those who are currently receiving treatment at the Cape Coast and Takoradi Hospital at the moment. Let me extend it to any other individual who is currently going through this same trauma that these ones recounting their stories are going through. What is there is that I personally have not come out of the shock of 2018-2019 accident. Madame Comfort had her leg splitted into two. When we got to the place, we got to the hospital, she was unconscious. They rushed her to Kolebu. There was no bed. We have to come in. And that's the pathetic part of it. Now, Ekumfi, the famous Ekumfi King Tampo accident, those 3 accidents that happened within a day that lost over 100 people. She was part. There are others who are there. Accident victim support have not come out of it. Now, what we do, personally, I as an individual, I am an advocate for National Road Safety Commission. But I set up this foundation 3 years ago to support those who survive. The focus is on the living. Those who are dead are dead. But what about those who survive? How do we keep them surviving? Because they will not feel themselves again. Trust you me, the moment you go into an accident, you are a different person. Because you were well before, now you are not. You see fractures all over. You see deformity all over. Madam Comfort seated here, if your cameras can see her leg, she will have to spend numerous months at the hospital. And now she doesn't have her normal leg again. You can understand how she will feel. In fact, the entire family was broken down. And so as Accident Victim Support Foundation, one of the major roles we play for accident victims, the survivors, is to give them counseling. I won't talk about prayer, but counseling is involving. You know, we give them prayer, we talk to them, and then we also find ways and means we can keep them to understand that their self-esteem is still there and they can still live. The best way we do this thing, first of all, to defray their cost of hospital expenses, because they never plan to go into this. It's an accident, it's an occurrence that just happened. And so we go in there, we give them the needed support. With Madame Boateng, her case, the family members, God bless the family, the husband, they were there, the immediate family were there, but even that, we supported them. The case of Our Lady and several others we have supported, we have to pay for their hospital bills. The sister here from last year has been on our roll, making sure that she always gets her medication. She go for frequent treatments anytime.
That must be one hell of a burden on you. You said that you are an advocate for the National Road Safety Authority. Yes, it's now an authority.
Yes, sorry, authority.
What plan does the Road Safety Authority itself has or shared with you concerning victims from accidents?
Well, National Road Safety Commission had not really sat on a round table with me, but they know about me. I'm part of them, and so when it happens like that, the first thing they call me, what do we have in mind, so that they can give their support. So until I tell them what they request or what we need, then they come in. Like I said, we have not come out of the shock of last year, which we are still planning, because there are a lot of accident victims on us. And now we have this one. So at the moment, National Road Safety is waiting for me so that I come up with a plan on how we can support these people. Even though every year they make sure that we come together to do something for accident victims through through the foundation and also their own support.
I'll ask them one question, and I'll have you answer that same question. Auntie Comfort, what do you think should happen? You have been through it. You have been through an accident, you survived. What do you expect after an accident? What do you expect to happen for you? I hope you understand. Right.
So, accident ni and then necessary or minor and also a bino a year at the ma or more, send your mocotibiana woman.
Is that a bino? Share woman. Obi nya accident bia esa ban no bo no ho modern na ohwe na fi say accident no wunya ne saa eyiska se scan di ho a aya na ayedin nti esa aban no hwe na se obi nya accident na so wanwu a na say aban no eboa no.
Okay.
So
my question to her is what she expects. She, like other people who survive from accident, expect of the government. She says that there has to be some sort of support, and in this case, she says it's all about money when you get into this accident, and if you don't die, then you have to live, on medication, and that requires a lot of money. Government should step in for people like that. Mary, what are your own thoughts about what should happen for people who survive from accidents?
Wow, today we film no. See how so yare. And then our person will be to say we got to be away. Then our person say ye be ye and also be person be ye be amount. Emra wo want to me wu nan so what na say.
Yeah. Say aban boa oma omo enya onfa.
Emwa ben sa.
Say accident na me nyan. Obi amwa me. Ma me so ni bi. The basic on the day, a modification in Kakanga hospital. It's here, me da so chairman. I know me cobwas and no my portrait, no my ban. Ya mamma time I was and me corner my ban.
Okay.
It's no Duran so no Jessica. Ya man be bet. I was here the day I can come on.
Okay. So it boils down to financial support. So when you get through an accident and you survive, what happens to you? She's also talking about financial support, that she's still treating her leg after she got involved in that accident in which 20 people died on the spot. She doesn't know what happened to the rest of the people, but it boils down to money. Reverend Cyril, I'm coming to you. You're dealing with a state organization, a state institution that now has more powers. Yes, because they kept saying that we don't have enough powers. Now it's an authority. I mean, what do you, from your perspective, what can we do? Because I'm struggling to find out in my head what we can actually do for accident victims as a country. There are certain things that we even need to do on these roads that we are not doing. We've discussed it. Where people are fatigued with the discussion. We're still talking about it. Nothing is happening. I'm struggling to find out how we can help accident victims. I mean, what sort of scheme can the Road Safety Authority, for example, establish? I mean, insurance scheme. What do you think we can do? And is it already been discussed?
I wouldn't be swift in talking on behalf of the the authority. Sorry, but the little I know as an advocate, I would want to say it here that we are continuing to step up, in measures to educate drivers and also to educate pedestrians as well as any other road user to be very, very careful on how they apply their roads, because when accident increases, there is a cause and somebody must be the cause of the accident. And so with National Road Safety Commission, with all that is happening at the moment, communicators, both the general director, the advocate, we are trying our best, going out there, putting out measures that, look, don't overspeed, obey the speed limit. When you are driving, at least you to know that you don't have to drink and drive. Put on your seatbelt. The Okada people, put on your helmet and know where you need to cross the road, like the zebra crossing. We're trying to step up these things to educate the general public as Road Safety Authority. As an authority at the moment, they are now putting things in place to implement the policies that they have.
Are you sharing with them any ideas of how to set up a funding scheme of sort to support
they
accident
do
victims?
I believe before they do have, but it got to a time, then we were complaining, let me put it that way, that there was no funding. You understand?
No
but
funding
now,
for that
yes,
scheme.
For that scheme. But now with what I do, we are sharing on how we can take care of the victims, as well as increasing the education on the reduction of road accident as an authority. But like I said, the authority had now been given and they are putting things in place. It wouldn't just come like that. They will make sure that whilst we journey along, whatever powers that have been given to the authority would come to bear, and then whatever the authority also have to support victims. I mean, we are sharing that idea. They will definitely come to us, and then we will make sure the accident the survivors would also be seen to. But let me quickly state that there are some other people, benevolent Ghanaians, who ever since this accident keep happening, they've been calling, and I want to appreciate and also express gratitude to the Yahweh Temple of ICGC East Legon, as well as Bost Company, and then
bulk oil distribution
and transport, and then also marketing support consult, as well as Ghana Drive, and then Metromas STC, including the authority.
If all these organizations are supporting, are they providing funding that will, like a sustainable sort of funding or investment that will help these people that you support, you know, every now and then? Is that what's happening?
Well, I devised, let me say, a fundraising, you know, event strategy, which I do every year, and that's the National All Drivers Prayer Summit. And so under that event, we raise funds. And let me also thank Deputy Regional Minister for Greater Accra, Madam Elizabeth Saki, who yesterday had a meeting with me on what shall be done or what should be done for the victims. You know, and so we are looking forward to organize that. But extensively, we are this time writing letters to them so that we can help. Indeed, they support, but I wouldn't sit here and say that it's enough. But with the little that we get, we make sure that these survivors of these road crashes would be seen to. Personally, we go to their house, myself and my team, we visit them at their house, we look at how best we can bring them back. Some people, the moment they hear the trauma, they hear the sound of a horn alone, scares them. Yes, it brings back the memory. And so we try. There are some we are still talking to. Some are saying they won't cross the road again. Some are saying they won't sit in a car again. But by and large, we need to let drivers know that they need to reduce their speed, and they need to at least make sure they have clearer vision, or they stop drink driving and then rest when there is fatigue. And at the end of the day, we believe that these things will be reduced. Whereas we are also telling the road urban roads to make sure they fix our roads for us. Sister, I was reading the daily.
Okay, I need you to wrap up on that for me,
the daily says that 69% of our roads are bad, and if they are like this, then it means that we'll continue to have accidents increasing. And so
hopefully
we are saying that the government should come to the aid of accident victim support, and then any benevolent Ghanaians as well as corporate Ghana should also come to our aid. And I believe that when we walk in to go and visit, we are going there next week, we would at least be truthful to them. They should get well soon.
All right, so this one message is coming from Philip. Philip is a teacher from Dompasi where the accident happened. He says, I'm Philip from Dompasi where the accident occurred. I heard the IGP saying that within 72 hours, speed ramps will be constructed here. But I will say with authority that no such thing has happened up to now. So please kindly remind the IGP for us, because the place of the accident, the place is an accident-prone area. We'll be sending our correspondent. Our correspondent will be taking a look at that to find out whether what the IGP said is already happening on the road. But you say that you can say on authority that this is not happening. This one says, my name is Pastor John Kofi of Asanda in Western Region. I was a victim 9/1/2009 from Takwa Esiama. I was admitted at Eyikwe Catholic Hospital. 9 people died, including 2 drivers. Insurance companies in Ghana should be up and doing. Insurance companies in Ghana should be up and doing. That's a very interesting perspective to this. This one says, the issue of accidents in our country is quite devastating. The authorities have tried to figure out the cause. The fact is, an average driver on our road doesn't entertain any fear he could go to jail. Why? Because when an accident occurs, before a DVLA and police officer write their report, something happens, you say. That is why all these accidents happen. Reverend Cyril, you seem to agree with this point that this guy makes a lot. But let's see. It says, if you listen to the stories of these accident survivors, you will cry. Let's call the spade a spade. All these accidents that are occurring as a result of human error. The drivers are indeed killing innocent Ghanaians. Andrew Animal from Asankregwa sends that message. We've unfortunately run out of time, but I do have a lot of messages here. This one says the law should enforce enforced to punish drivers who overspeed on the road from Atumpang. You send us messages. Thank you very much for sharing your stories and for sharing your messages as well. Let me see if I can do a very quick message. Answer comforts. Accidents here is here. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, na me pese me shana bi ye me.
Then a year.
Me huni amekanti. Yeah, na me pese me tia and say me she accident no. He said me shana makai.
Okay.
Makai. Me dia no near a to me no.
Okay.
He said me dia no nipa ensia ene wuye. Because share can I say at once so why be so general hospital.
Okay.
To 6 in the
okay. So I'm asking Auntie Comfort what happens to her when what did she think? What went through her mind when she saw this accident? She says she blocked herself out. She blocks it out of her mind. She doesn't want to see. She doesn't want to hear because it just brings back the memories of the accident in which she was involved. She had her feet under the car. 6 people died in that particular accident. Finally, Mary, what's our accidents where what's here, then a bow dream.
We who na me kai me there they see send away sana ye there no so ye the bus let it say kra it say sit ni na buboy ne easy ti me who accident I am person me share. If you say me sha no makai ene mesuwa.
Okay. Well, Mary says that for her, she sees or hears about new accidents. She just remembers the accident in which she was involved where 20 people died. She says she can cry her heart out when that happens. So the best thing they do is to try to block them out. But do we have any institutions that provide this sort of psychological support from the trauma that they undergo, having to hear? Because it seems that we'll continue hearing stories about the accident. Anyway, we'll call it a wrap here. I see that you wanted to say something, but if you could do that in 30 seconds, because I've really run out of time.
Yes. We also, like you said, we give psychological support for the victims and also help in burying these victims who die. This makeup artist who died recently, I was there to empathize with their family, and then also the one that Madam Comfort was in, the ladies who died, I was part of them that buried. So the accident victim support, we will need more support to do these things for Ghanaians, and then the cases will stop.
All right, Comfort Boateng joined us. She is an accident victim. In the accident that she was involved in, 6 people died. Auntie Comfort, thank you very much for coming. I also have here Mary Mensah. Mary Mensah was involved in an accident in which 20 people died. At least 20 people died. Mary, thank you very much for sharing your story. So hopefully when you've heard all of these stories, you will be more careful on the street. Reverend Cyril Benedict Crab is the founder and president of Accident Support. Accident Victim Support is a group that support people involved in accidents who survive.